Hello and welcome to the podcast.
We can edit this out, it's fine.
Keep going.
What's it called?
Cutting through the bull.
Cutting through the ball.
Post truth
The
apocalypse.
post is apocalypse. I'm Mike, I'm here with Ben
Hello.
and Gaz.
Hello.
Ben, you have an announcement to make?
It's Easter Monday, and even though I don't believe in Jesus,
Yes.
we're on the brink of nuclear war. But thanks for the holiday.
Yay! But, and speaking of Jesus, I would just quickly, before we start, it won't take long, and feel free to disagree with me, but it was suggested last time we recorded that I couldn't beat Jesus in a fist fight because of his superpowers, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So I've done some research into said superpowers. And as far as I can tell, now I've never read the Bible all the way through, I've heard bits of it.
Just the main bits, like, you
A
know.
quick Google search, I didn't spend that long on it.
Tell me you Googled one of Jesus' superpowers.
Yeah, I literally did, of course. Right. And as far as I can tell, there's four. Number one, the ability to create and manifest marine life, specifically fish.
Aquaman's
Okay.
power. He's slated Aquaman.
Well, number two, the ability to walk on water.
Aquaman.
Number three, which is kind of the same as two, the ability to part the ocean. And number four, the ability to raise from the dead. Now,
That's a pretty significant one, to
okay,
be fair.
well now
Because you
I'll
just get
deal with
tired
that
from
one.
over-punching him.
I'll deal with that one. See, okay, he has the ability to raise from the dead, but one of the key elements of resurrection is the ability to fucking die. So I'll stab him in the fucking throat as many times as it takes for eternity.
You'll get tired.
Fuck him.
You got to sleep at
He
some
still
point.
died. I still beat him.
You
The point is, it would
but-
still count in like the WWE or something. It would count.
No, it wouldn't.
It would.
It's not
Be a
there.
rematch every 3 days.
Exactly.
So the win would still count. It would still be on the record.
What if you just manipulate? What if you have a match on the beach and you just manipulate a shark to bite your legs off?
Fuck that. I thought I'd really written the definitive guide to beating Jesus in a fist fight here. Because look, alright, ability to manifest a fish.
Mhm.
He would have to manifest the perfect fish, the correct weight and velocity to be able to swing it with enough
Swordfish?
velocity.
You could stab
But what
you
if
with
he
a
didn't think
swordfish?
of swordfish
Well, he'd
first?
try it again in 3 days' time, wouldn't
Is
he?
his knowledge of marine life that intricate?
He knew what a
right?
swordfish was.
He would have to just, in that time, stab to the throat. He's dead. Dead. The
3
ability
days
to
later.
walk on water and part the ocean, fight him in a desert.
Yeah, but what if he chooses?
Fight him in a
What
desert.
if next time round he chooses to fight you on the sea?
Well, I'm fucked, but we won't fight by the sea.
You know.
Moving on, Nazis. I beat Jesus. There you go.
Well, don't say Jesus would turn to the cheek. He just laid out anyway. So it's a non-fight.
It's all just
Look,
been a
it's
waste of time.
hypothetical.
Basically, you'd just be pounding the shit out of him.
And would I learn a deep lesson about myself? And then
Eventually, yes, you would.
And then when he found me sitting alone, staring into the sea, he'd just come and sit next to me, you know.
And then he'd
It all
shank
makes
you with
sense
the
now, my
kidneys.
son. And
Yes.
Then he shanks you in the kidneys.
With a swordfish.
Yeah, with a swordfish.
Well, tricks to Jesus.
Who ain't got powers now, bitch? Laugh at my powers with you, what can you do?
Did you tell me your mother's name is Mary?
Oh my god, my mother's name is Mary too.
There you go. It's Batman Superman all over again. But seriously, we're on the brink of nuclear war.
Yeah.
We're hours away from nuclear war.
Mm-hmm.
Possible nuclear war.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Facebook told me.
Facebook told me, and the Don is going to make America great, and that involves nuking an insignificant peasant country.
It does seem quite trigger happy, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But, well, it's all new to him, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? He's just playing at it, maybe. Well, I hope. He's just, you know, what does this one do? Like Bill Hicks said, you know, when he's like, they've got a catalogue of stuff, then they've got to use it just because they've got it. What does
Yeah.
this one do? We might as well show them what we can do. And hasn't Russia started doing the same thing?
They've got the father of all bombs now,
Oh.
FOAB.
God.
They haven't dropped it yet.
Yeah, but they've got
Yes.
it.
Yes.
That's because it's been hastily constructed out of the finest materials Russia has to offer.
I think
What?
something also
Plywood and foil.
interesting to note is it today or yesterday, President Erdogan of Turkey
Yeah.
has just been given basically dictatorial powers in Turkey, so,
And they voted for that.
and they voted for it
They
in a
wanted a
referendum.
dictator. Well, is that country in the shit, like? I don't follow stuff. Did they get fucked up in the, you know, the
Although
big
he's in
economic
prison.
crash and
He's
stuff?
imprisoned and exiled all his all the people against him, so the only people left to vote in the referendum are for him.
That's
It's
the
cunning.
way to get in.
It's cunning.
That is
That's
the
how I
way
do it.
to get in as a dictator.
Yeah.
That's very clever.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
pretty much Hitler did it. Let's face it.
Basically. So, because I don't really follow, I try not to. I just get glimpses of it on Facebook. So, Russia, America, everyone's showing off their big bottoms.
Yep.
Syria's involved somehow. Is this all because of North Korea?
This is the thing. America seems to want to fight everybody at once. They said, you know what, enough of this one at a time shit.
Oh yeah, China's in there somewhere as well.
Now China are now back in America. They're like,
Oh,
yeah,
that's alright. Yeah.
we'll work with you
At
because
least we got one of the big boys.
even the Chinese aren't insane to launch a nuclear strike, start a
Yeah.
nuclear war.
We hope.
Yeah. Oh,
No, I think they're pretty sane. They've got it pretty good, haven't they? The Chinese elite. They don't.
Oh,
They don't.
They're
They're
the
good.
emerging superpower, so
Yeah, they don't want to be tarnished with the same sort of America dropping the bomb kind of thing.
No.
The only
Well,
country ever to have used the bomb.
But I think, wouldn't Russia quite like to do it? Oh, I don't know, fuck all, but either way, it doesn't look good, does it?
Look, Putin's got tapes of Trump getting pissed on. That's all we can really say at this point. Because that's. I'm sorry. I know that I can't not believe that story. It just sounds too much like it.
But has anyone checked what is David Icke saying?
No.
Because, you know,
He's probably slagging off the Americans and the Chinese. He's probably supporting North Korea. I can't help but feel he is in a nuclear exchange. He's back in the losing side.
Well,
yeah.
We
Well,
thought-
speaking of war, we're going
Yay!
back all the way to World War II
39 to 45.
with this today's podcast.
The good old days, apparently, according to Brexiters. And Britain first.
Daily Mail.
And the
We
Daily
were
Mail.
there.
The good old days. Rationing, constant bombing.
yes, the good old days before I was born.
Yes. But you could leave your door open at night and no one would nick your stuff.
That's what my nan said, I think.
I've heard mine say that before. You could leave your door open, you know.
She committed suicide by putting her head in the oven though, so what does she know?
You should
Sorry,
leave your
I didn't
door
laugh
open.
at
No, she didn't. She didn't. I was just saying, isn't that what nans from that age did? Because of all the troubles they'd seen.
My nan would go down to the shop, which was owned by Asians down the road as a last resort, and when she got home, she would, for some reason, use the product, but wash her hands in diluted bleach.
Good job you didn't tell Amy that at the festival.
Oh,
Amy is.
oh, well, we can't use her name, so we have to
No.
call it A from now on.
A modern Nazi devotee.
Yeah.
I'd like to say, so we're talking about, aren't we, the Nazi and the occult, most specifically, but like, the thing that I found in my research that shocked me the most is this fucking Nazi religion, basically. I had no idea they were like all those rituals, all that Nuremberg, all those rallies, it was all designed.
Who doesn't love a good torchlight parade? That's all I can say.
It was all designed, to make him look like the Messiah. Because, and there's different levels, isn't there, of who believed what. 'Cause
Yeah.
towards the end, he
yeah.
sort of turned against it, didn't he? But-
He actually disbanded. He kind of washed his hands of the Fuel Society, which is the start of it. That was the start
Yeah.
of National Socialism, and but the kind of membership of that read like a who's who of the Nazi Party. And Rudolf Hess was in it. Who was,
Yeah.
We'll come to him later on,
Yes.
because he was an odd fish, to say the least.
And he did something mental.
Yeah,
Well,
but when did he
They
go?
were-
I've got it in my notes somewhere.
well, should we start with basically in the 30s, long time before the war, they were already, basically, they were in the Himalayas searching for
Raiders
their
of the Lost
ancient
Ark.
Aryan ancestors. And this is where, I didn't pay much attention to history in school. And if they'd have started right up the top with those Nazis, the guys that you remember, was your granddad in World War II? My hand would have gone up, yeah. Right, those guys he's fighting.
Them Nazi
They were
guys.
searching the world for their ancient Atlantean ancestors who were superpowered godmen, and they truly believed that within a couple of generations they could regain their superpowers and set about ridding the world of all other bloodlines. If he fucking started with that, I could be a history scholar by now. I would have sat up and paid attention.
Telekinetic powers.
Jesus.
Telekinetic powers, right?
They were
So-
after superpowers.
They could just lift a tank up and drop it just by using your. That's like.
We're talking Star Wars shit.
We're fucking
talking-
gassing thousands of people and they're all getting high as fucking castles talking about we will once again be fucking 7 foot tall and and they believe they couldn't be beaten because they were so into this fucking mythology. But we're getting ahead, I think. So should we talk about
let's go with the Thule Society.
The
'cause it was
dual and
kind
the
of-
Aryan thing.
It was the start of it all. Founded in 1918. It's a German occultist group in Munich. And like I say, the member list is like a who's who of who was high up in the Nazi party in the early days, apart from Hess, who survived. There's a guy called Eckhart, and Hitler dedicated Mein Kampf to him. And he was really into this occult, the origins of the Aryan race. If you joined the Thule Society, you had to sign a blood declaration saying that you were. Do you want to hear what it was?
Yeah.
I've got the quote. It's 'cause the language is quite interesting, and I'd imagine that people today would, would sort of crap their pants if you went for a job interview and you had to sign this. The signer hereby swears, to the best of his knowledge, should I do this in a German accent? Yes.
Feeling brave.
The signer hereby swears, to the best of his knowledge, that no Jewish or coloured blood flows in either his or his wife's veins, and that among the ancestors are no members of the coloured races.
Wow.
But now, for people that don't understand Klingon, you can say it in English.
The signer hereby swears, to the best of his knowledge, that no Jewish or coloured blood flows in either his or his wife's veins, and that among their ancestors are no members of the coloured races.
Well,
So imagine going for your job,
Yes.
and you've got to sign that.
Lovely.
It's pretty much what you probably had to do to get in the SS, and they'd have checked you back to 1785 or something daft like that to make sure.
it was
A lot of effort.
But I thought that all humanity sprang from Africa.
but they see. I've got some stuff on this. I should have wrote down the name, but like, there was one dude who really. There seemed to be a lot of secret societies at this time looking for meaning and they were sort of raiding ancient myth and.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, they're basically borrowing anything they could adapt to suit their. Because, like you say, everything comes from Africa, but or so people say. Oh, I don't know. But they were saying that this
No, I thought
this
that was the impression
ancient.
that God created the world in 6
Well,
days,
yeah.
5,000 years ago.
But
There's also that theory. as
But
well.
their quest to find these people in Tibet, the true Aryan originals, was their quest to prove that they were the original, separate, superior bloodline to everything else.
Yeah, because they did
on the
literally
planet.
go everywhere.
They went
they were
searching.
they were called the man.
Anunnaki or something
It's
like
close
that.
to that, you know.
Yeah.
It's the Anunnaki. It probably sounds completely different in German, but they conduct.
Just shout it really loud.
Yeah, I don't know. They
Sorry,
conducted
German.
experiments and launched expeditions to prove that mythological Nordic populations had once ruled the world. So they were going around doing the old pure Aryan skull shape.
Yeah, they were.
business.
It
So they
started
were-
off quite innocently, like
Measuring
measuring noses
yeah,
and heads.
yeah.
But I've got like what the actual legend was. It's a legend of a lost land there where once lived a race of super beings who lost their way due to vice.
Oh,
and
well, if you're going to lose your way.
Yeah, what a way to go, man! Blowjobs and coke!
Yes!
I'm a 7-foot telekinetic beast!
I'm purely white and I've got
Nice fuck! Okay, and then,
anyway, yeah.
then they were wiped out by a great flood. And some
Always
priests...
a flood.
Always
It's always
a
a
flood!
flood.
And then some priests escaped... obviously this is a very shortened version. Some priests escaped to Tibet, northern India. And then those priests are the ancestors of all European people, and they lost their powers by basically getting lax and mating with mere mortals.
Oh,
And these legends and myths were kind of the seeds of the Nazi doctrine, which did kind of started with the Thule, but then Hitler comes in, another Himmler and that, and they again take bits of that they wanted from the Thule Society, what did suit them, bits of other things. A lot of them, Himmler was well into, I hope I can say it right. The Bhagavata, the Hindu,
Yeah, there's like a big-
that ancient, like, well long, but it's about war and like he was well into that.
Today,
Yes,
because I love a dolly days of
Why
bullshit.
not?
The Indians do actually have this fucking text. It's a big, long, flowing saga about how battleships in the sky were fighting one another. It's basically describing a fucking alien war.
It's from that
Is that
book.
the same
It's
thing?
from- yeah. That's where a lot of people think take it. It could be a holy story, like made up like the Bible, but some people think it's solid proof of an ancient advanced race that did have flying machines and stuff.
Von Daniken and our large-haired friend.
So they believe that the Aryan people were are not the same as the rest of humanity.
Superior. that's key, isn't it?
Oh
really,
yeah,
I
they are.
suppose.
They're supermen. They're the
But
Ubermen.
currently, the Germans had that blood flowing through them, but it become impure. So, and
This
this,
is
and a lot of
huge.
apparently at the time, a lot of nationalism was being bolstered by occult and satanic, astrological, these kinds of new ways, well, seemingly new.
Let's not diss Satan too much.
Through magazine and stuff, and
Don't blame him.
we love you, Hell Satan. But, yeah, so like they really did think they were superior, and when they were in the, like we said, they were measuring heads in Tibet. This is before they started killing people and experimenting on them. They were looking for apparently narrow foreheads, long limbs, and angular features. These are Aryan traits. But
I'm feeling pretty good about myself right now.
and
He says he's measuring his head with the tape
and I got a good quote. Apparently, so they thought that with selective breeding they could recreate the godmen.
Right.
Because these godmen, which were predicted in the mythology, which were going to be infinitely superior to modern man.
I found somewhere where they got SS officers
Yes.
were provided with a list of suitable cemeteries that were filled with Nordic heroes.
Right.
And if they went and fucked in them with their wives, the spirits of those heroes would become imbued into the womb and their next child.
Magic.
Sex magic. So is it always? I always say, is it sex magic or sex magic? Like in the song, I don't know.
On a side note, a brief side note, I did try to practice some sex magic, right? Which, you know, the thinking, envisioning at the point of orgasm, you know, envisioning the thing you want, but I found it really difficult to think of anything other than and then briefly afterwards, oh shit, think about my mansion.
What do atheists shout when they get an orgasm? You know what I mean?
I've just got
The infinite chasm of space!
Yeah.
I said chasm, man.
Or the agnostics. There may or may not be a god.
I'm so confused.
I'm on the fence. As your part of sex magic is drinking your partner's menstrual blood, I'm not sure if you want to go down that road.
I'm not that committed.
No. I was thinking of this at work the other day. It was quite boring. I was on my own, and I was like, would I go that far?
If you could give me concrete
Exactly.
proof,
Yes.
concrete solid evidence.
This is what it boils down to. If fucking some dude comes to me and says, "This is my mansion, this is my wealth, here's my fame," you know, I did.
And he's got scientists with him.
He's got scientists with him and
Yeah.
irrefutable proof, and he says, "You know what?
Clipboard.
Hey, read that. Whoa, you drank your Mrs. Period blood, yeah? Sign me up, man. That's it. Yeah, why not? What the fuck?"
If it gets results.
If it gets results, somebody to try it.
Well, I'm pretty sure fucking Himmler would have drank some period blood if it made him.
Dude, he was probably drinking the blood of the fucking innocent anyway.
Because, okay. I've
Chicken blood, he was a fucking chicken farmer.
He loved it. So I've got a bit. Should we.
I just want to ask something about the swastika. So,
oh, yeah.
the swastika, I mean, that is also a Hindu symbol as well. So is that?
It was. Well, apparently. Didn't they basically wanted a non-Christian symbol, didn't they? And it does mean
it's kind
it's
of like a cross, though, isn't
hope.
it?
Yeah,
It's kind of, you take the arms off, it's a cross.
I mean, they had it to mean the symbol of the destiny of the Aryan man.
Yeah, and as well, you got like when because they were very big on parades, Nazis.
Yeah.
And when they did their parade, they would have like guys dressed as Teutonic knights with swastika symbols on the chest and on the shields.
Yeah.
They were trying to reinvent history because they loved that Teutonic knight thing. Himmler forgot. The bodies of Teutonic warlords, they must have dug them in the travels and found the tombs, took the bodies out, stuck them in a mine shaft. They're trying to resurrect them at some point. You know.
Well, and Hitler in 19. I wrote somewhere. Hitler had a portrait of himself painted as a knight.
Well, what? I think I've seen that portrait actually. Yeah.
He's carrying a flag like that.
Yes, he's got the old swastika pennant. He loved a good swastika.
Yeah. So that did you mention Rosenberg? Or am I imagining that? What was that dude you said who's in the Thule?
Eckhart.
Oh, him. No, this is a different.
I've got actually a good quote from Eckhart.
Go on, him.
Because he was well in the Thule Society, and he was Hitler's mentor. And this is kind of weird. because he's meant to. Hitler's dedicated Mein Kampf to him, and he said, "Follow Hitler. He will dance, but his eye who have called the tune. We have given him the means of communication with them, whoever the fuck them are." I think that's not the quote, by the way. "Do not mourn me. I shall have influenced history more than any other German." What the hell is that about, man?
He knew. You see, now this is to do with the swastika, though, like, because it started with. So we have to talk. You know, I said at the start I was shocked by this idea that they were starting a religion, and it was like the religion of the blood. It was known as, and
But it's
basically the
really
idea was it not a church of faith or belief, but it's a church of blood. And I got a quote: "The blood of the people is the soul of the race." So like using these sort of using the anti-Semitism that was in the air.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, they had the was it the night of the long knives where they basically sort of trashed all the Jewish businesses and arrested people. Kristallnacht.
So you got that.
Actually, Kristallnacht, Night of the Long Knives when they beheaded the
that's when they got rid of the SA. Or
the SA, the brown shirts.
Brown shirts.
Black. Hugo Boss was just more black.
So you got then. So you got anti-Semitism. You've got the rise of sort of occultism. The idea of like sort of extreme nationalism, the Aryan idea, and they basically just. So I got a really good quote from Hitler. Well, if anything he said could be classed as good. But,
there is. And apart from that chick who I went to download with.
Yeah, basically.
We'll get into that.
So
when I'm ready.
The godly essence is to be defended through the blood. The old beliefs will be brought back to honour again. The whole secret knowledge of nature, of the divine, the demonic, we will wash off the Christian veneer and bring out a religion peculiar to our race. So the swastika was kind of hijacked as the symbol of this new religion, and with all the, and that's why now all this footage that I've seen before, but kind of out of context, I suppose, of like the Nuremberg rally and all these sort of, like, it's all so stage managed and designed, like, as hypnotic and ritualistic and fucking, and ripped off from Christianity and paganism and,
Well, Shakespeare said, didn't he? He said the whole world's a stage of all actors.
Well, he was playing it so well, and it worked, man.
It's weird that they still had Gott mit uns on their belts, because that is God is with us, and they all had that. Every German soldier had that on their. They still kind of believed in it, but it was like.
But they replaced. I've got here some.
When the Romans brought in they brought in Christianity, didn't they? The Romans. And they incorporated pagan religions into it.
Well, that's why we celebrate Easter on the
feast to make it more palatable.
Ishtar.
Yeah.
I mean, if they come out and say to everybody, God, your God doesn't exist, our God does.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes. Is Jesus a Sith now? Because in that case, he's definitely
well, they were the whole design of this religion is like placing Hitler as the Messiah, and like, do you know like the story? I haven't read the date, but those 16 Nazis that marched in.
The Beer push.
Right.
They tried to take power. It was a big coup they tried. That's why Hitler was arrested.
So the blood went on that flag, and that's the flag, the sacred flag they used for the blood ceremony.
And they blessed every SS flag with that, because obviously every unit still has a standard, or still did at that point. So then they would touch that cloth to their cloth,
the next one,
that was passing it on then
to make it sacred. And sort of as he rose to power, Hitler, the blood religion rose with him, and like they reinforced it by like replacing Christian holy days and rituals with ceremonies for those 16 Nazis. Like Easter was, basically Easter was called the Night of the Dead.
Well, that sounds cool though.
And I got
that does sound cool.
And they called those 16 the 16 Immortals. And
that sounds even cooler.
Yeah, I've got some of the lyrics. The Night of the Dead, they fight, die, and are victorious. Just Hitler, a force without spiritual foundation is doomed to failure. So basically he was being built and replaced as fucking their Jesus, basically, as their like all devotion and trust. Like, so he just wiping out Christianity as he goes, well, in Germany and wherever he went, I suppose.
Yeah, he went to other places.
Is he wiping out or incorporating it sort of?
Just sort of kicking it to one side, I suppose, and saying, if you're with me, then you believe this. And like in the Hitler Youth, I got like one of their lyrics they had to sing in the morning. We are rising. So from young, they're taught
you've got the
you will
Hitler
die
Youth,
for
they're
Hitler.
like 5 to 15.
Yeah.
You got 10 years of Hitler youth, and you're basically being groomed for the SS.
Yeah, it's
Effectively, because you've got to be a pure Aryan stock.
And at 17, when they're passing out, they had to this part of the I don't know what to call it. When you're doing a ceremony and you say something, but you know what I mean.
Graduation.
Yeah, kind of. We are rising up to face storms of battle. A hero's death is our right.
Wow.
Racial superiority and total devotion to Hitler, even to the death. 17. Right? So they're already indoctrinated that we'll die for this cause.
Yeah.
Fucking and
Indoctrination is a very
Well,
powerful tool.
when you got into the SS, the dagger you were given, the SS had the SS oath on it, blood and honour. Again, back to the blood religion. It's in there. Weirdly, they were also the only Nazi troops to have their blood type tattooed on them.
definitely, it all fits into that idea of purity, Aryan superiority. You know, they're really buying into it.
But then when they ran short of manpower, they
quickly.
there was a Viking division which was made up of Scandinavians, which is logical because they're tall and blonde.
Next to them,
Then you've got the French division, who were amongst the last to surrender. When Berlin fell, the French SS were the final ones to surrender, which showed more pluck than they had defending France, I might add. Sorry, a bit of French racism there. We're English, we're allowed to occasionally. Sorry to any French people listening.
If you mention France, we're allowed to have a dig.
Yeah, they can have a dig at us, we're stupid, we live in Europe, it's all going to go to pot.
Bad teeth, our food, shit, blah blah blah.
Yeah, exactly, there you go. Feel free to pick any of those.
Anyway.
I work for a French company, by the way.
Yay, jingoism.
Yay!
Speaking of Nazis.
And then of course, and then they had the
World War.
yes, but how many times have we fucking lost to them?
How long did it take? It took 26 minutes.
26 minutes to football.
We should be proud of ourselves.
It's longer than any England fan has held out at a game, I can tell you that much.
Only one dodgy accent so far.
Hey! But yeah, by the end, anyway, Himmler was incorporating Bosnian Muslims and Indian soldiers into the SS because they were kind of part Aryan, so it was okay.
If he could have reanimated these half blown up fucking dead soldiers, he'd have fucking sent them out clawing like
Dead Snow.
Yep, there you go.
Every Nazi zombie game. It was all planned, man.
On a side note,
Necromancy is nothing to be.
You described it Necromancy Monthly.
on a side note, this took an entire page of my notes. Apparently Hitler was obsessed with Wagner.
You may say Apocalypse Now, Ride of the Valkyries.
Yes.
Which, by the way, if we got a war in Syria, I'm in a helicopter, that's playing, I don't care.
Well,
that's playing.
He was obsessed with him from a very early age, apparently, the age of 12. Obsessed with him, apparently, even more than any sort of...
Any white German should be.
Well, yeah, more than any sort of, like, general or anything like that. This was the man he respected and sort of hero worshipped the most.
He was an art student.
Right, yeah.
Hitler, he appreciated the arts.
Well,
you know that.
if Ozzy Osbourne and other metal musicians were made to defend themselves in court, like Ozzy had to in the 80s, over Suicide Solution, you know, because one of his fans, you know, goes a bit doolally, shoots up a school, then if there are any living descendants, any living descendants of this Wagner chap,
right.
I'm afraid the Holocaust lands squarely at the... I want them in court, I blame them, backwards masking. It was Wagner's fault, basically. And if they have got any relatives, they should be publicly executed by the mascot from Iron Maiden, Eddie.
Any particular reason why it's Eddie, or...?
Well, he represents metal music, and I believe metal should not have been blamed for these crimes, but I do believe we should give Wagner the same treatment.
So...
I'm going to stop making these kinds of things.
Yeah, but he did ride the Valkyries, and Apocalypse Now wouldn't have been the same without it.
It definitely inspired him, and apparently it inspired a lot of the...
Well, Himmler loved it as well. He loved Parsifal, which was the story of the Grail quest and the pure
I've got
light.
some of that, yeah.
And
the pure blood. See, Wagner was right. It all links in. There was a reason I was chatting bollocks in my notes.
It actually, you can kill back to 1871 in that, where The Coming Race, it was a book by a guy called Edward Bulwer-Lytton, and the Nazis loved it. The pure... This is where you get Vril from.
Right.
You heard of Vril? Did you come across Vril?
Viridians.
Vril.
Viridians, that's from something, Star Trek or something.
That's the leader of the Intergalactic Council of Light.
Oh, man, you love that shit.
1977, the Southern Broadcast TV. I'm sure he was brilliant.
Do Do you hear about that?
I love that. You know
Yeah.
about that video where he just invaded the sink? I
Yeah.
fucking watched that
It's
so
brilliant,
many times.
isn't it?
So creepy, so amazing.
It is brilliant. They still haven't explained it.
Yeah, no one fucking
It was a
knows.
wiretap.
It was just some dick. He was just like some art student rejecting himself with a spatula. Like fucking. He was right though. This will freak him the fuck out. Low budget as shit.
No, you're thinking of the American one.
Oh, did we get a British one?
There was a British one.
Oh, shit.
It was
Oh,
it was
did
the
you?
alien. You're on about that dude in the balaclava kept on coming back in.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
remember
just being
that.
silly.
Yeah, this is an alien. This is someone from
Oh.
another dimension.
This is brilliant.
Brilliant.
Oh, no, I
On
haven't
the
met him.
Intergalactic Council of Light.
Oh.
He warned us about getting rid of nuclear weapons and joining.
No one fucking listens.
Exactly. This is if you only appear on Essex TV, no one's going to listen to you.
Oh,
Hijack Fox News. I'll be more impressed.
Oh, I'm sorry, Marillion. Marillion, no, he's a singer, isn't he?
Yeah.
Isn't that really shit metal? No, anyway.
Yeah, but anyway, you know what else has got Vril in the name? It's got an occult. This Vril is it can be used for good and evil. Yeah,
Right.
it's more of a life-giving elixir.
Okay.
Think of a common product we have in this country that's got Vril in the name.
I'm being thick. Oh, it's going to be obvious when you tell me.
Bovril. Bovril has an occult connection.
The elixir of life.
The makers of Bovril want you to sell your soul and live forever. That is it.
Bovril, you've heard it here first. Bovril is the elixir of life.
But yeah, but it was from an ancient underground Superior master race. And this
Okay.
ties into a lot of this. They're taking ideas from everywhere. It's absolutely nuts.
It's
But
basically anything that even slightly. We could make that fucking sound like us.
Yeah.
Because I've even got. Oh.
Then I got into
Wagner.
UFOs. I ended up going into UFOs, Vril-powered UFOs, the Nazi UFOs.
Well, fuck.
And every which way I went with Hitler and the occult, I ended up with aliens.
Here we go. Because some of these guys believed some of this stuff a lot more than others. Himmler and Hess were well into it, weren't they? But Goering wasn't so much. But they found, I haven't written down the year, but they found in Nostradamus a.
Oh, don't be doing it, Nostradamus.
What's it called? A
Quatrain.
Quatrain. They found that famous quatrain with history.
Oh yeah, but it's not Hitler, is it?
I know.
It's prophecy.
But this gives you a hint of the times. Goebbels knew this was bullshit. Goebbels knew you can interpret any fucking. But he still used it as propaganda. And they printed leaflets. This is why I wrote the first, fake news. Printed leaflets that
Exactly.
look, Nostradamus has
Fake
already
news.
predicted it, dumped them over France. He knew it was propaganda, but people like Himmler and that were like, wanking themselves stupid.
Himmler
Like,
was,
proof!
yeah.
Proof! Sorry, German accent number 2, but proof!
I was proud of my German accent.
Yeah, but apparently Britain got in on it too. They did, because these occult magazines were really taking off in
In the
Nazi
30s,
Germany.
in the 30s, you got Aleister Crowley knocking around as well.
yeah, they were,
The
and
Goblin
Hitler was
himself,
well into
King
it too.
Goblin.
But we used our, the government employed our master forger, I didn't write his name down, to basically do fake copies of these magazines but he would write them a few months, late. So date them late, so you write August's magazine in, I don't know, I'm being thick, but you get what I mean, you release it, so it looks like he's predicting stuff, basically, you release it after the fact.
Oh, so you go, right, so something's happened, and then you release it, you write it the day
fake
after,
magazine.
bang it in from the week before.
Afterwards, yeah.
Yeah, and they go, oh look, I predicted this.
And they're like,
Whoa!
oh my god! Okay, and they were like, it was like counter stuff like Hitler isn't gonna, you're all gonna die, blah blah blah. And so yeah, people were at the fake news even back then, but they, like you say though, they would anything they could use, any bit of
I despise all this prophecy bullshit. It's one of my big bugbears, It's Nostradamus. It's bad poetry written in an ancient French dialect. Only like 5 people speak nowadays.
And apparently,
you can turn it any way you want. It's done. It's been bought out for everything, man.
Yeah.
And
apparently, it depends which language you translate it in as to, two completely different meanings. And people can't actually prove which bits he wrote and which bits have been added.
And then there's all that shit about him having a medallion around his neck, which when they robbed his tomb in the revolution, it was the date on the thing that they actually broke into the tomb, and it's all bollocks.
He probably
What about
smoked
Madame Wang?
Oh, fuck her too.
The blind
Yeah, great. She's already hyped up on Jesus. Can you trust her? She thinks that there's a dude out there who can beat Gaz in a fist fight. We're called Jesus, and that's not.
Fuck him. No, I'd stab him. I wouldn't, because see, his superpowers.
But he's
might be rubbish.
Aquaman.
Oh look, let's not go on about it. I'm just saying, right? Should we talk about the
I think we
Himmler
need-
and
yeah.
the SS?
Himmler's
Of course
a
it is,
they're
I mean.
quite
Yeah, I could do with a piss.
Yeah, me too.
piss. We're back.
So you know Himmler?
The chicken farmer, son of a bitch.
Fucking chicken. The fact that a chicken farmer, I'm sorry, a guy that farms chickens for a living, and obviously he wasn't very good at it because he joined the Nazi party and they were full of down and outs,
Yeah.
right? Who looks nothing like the Aryan ideal.
Yep.
He's short, he's dark haired, he's dark eyed, he's got big fucking thick glasses, Coke bottle lenses of the damn things,
Spindly legs.
constant stomach pains,
Yep.
right? Ends up being the head of the most racially pure department in Germany, right?
And militarily, like,
Yeah,
mighty.
Reichsfuhrer,
Mm-hmm.
ends up controlling Berlin's defences in the last days, does a really shit job, tries to surrender to the Allies.
Yep.
Probably ordering the death of
Ordering the
people.
death of
As
millions
a
of
very
people.
similar to him.
The architect of the Holocaust. He's the Hitler. Hitler. Yeah, he was up for it, but it was Hitler. It was Himmler that organised it.
Hitler was
Yeah.
up for it.
He was up for it, mate.
Was that in his diary?
Yeah.
Hitler mentioned the Holocaust.
It was,
I'm up for it.
it was a WhatsApp
Smiley
group.
face.
It was a WhatsApp group.
It
It was anyone up for a Holocaust?
Well, he also, let's talk.
That's
For
a
a
poor
second.
taste joke. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's fine.
The Holocaust
Um,
centres.
So Himmler and his
I've been
mysticism
to a
and
concentration camp. It was fucking awful, to be fair. Not like one that was running. It was.
no, it would have been a lot more than awful.
Yeah,
But-
I went to the ruins of one. That was pretty
Yeah.
fucking bad. Been in my life.
No, death.
Oh yeah.
So he was.
According to some people, are right. He was the holiday camps.
That's it. That
Some
my
Nazis did.
my Nazi ex thought that never happened.
Wasn't one of the
Wasn't Mel
didn't
Gibson
somebody
say
really
something?
powerful in America right now say something really
Oh
stupid
yeah,
about,
yeah. What's his name? The White House press
Sean
secretary.
Spicer. he
Sean
said-
Spicer.
Said they were Holocaust.
Yeah. Oh, the other stupid thing about fucking him that I found insane. So he's the main driving force behind a lot of the mysticism and weird shit in Nazidom. And he genuinely believed himself to be the reincarnation of King Heinrich. And his karmic destiny was to fulfill the holy war to the east against the Slavs that King Heinrich had started. He held burial rituals where he
Can we call him King Heine?
Heine. He took this king's fucking remains in a new grave, did a fucking ritual, planned to fulfill the king's destiny, and introduced. And I found this interesting. He basically brought back feudal law, like the way Nazis overtook places.
First
like
rights. On the first
Basically,
night's right.
Yeah, when they started taking over countries, high-ranking SS officers would just take possession of large estates. Local people would be
As you
killed or turned into slave labour, just like the Teutonic Knights of
Oh,
old.
Teutonic Knights of yore.
And I wrote this really big. They lived in a fucking castle.
The
SS
Wieselberg Castle.
headquarters, a fucking castle.
Wieselberg
And
Castle.
that was where the
Build-
SS
finished-
recruits were trained to be quote-unquote warrior priests.
Built
What
in,
the fuck?
Built
Did
in
you-
1609, the Wieselberg Castle, you know? 1609?
Overtook-
It was over something sacred, wasn't it, Ben?
Yeah, and he completely rebuilt it. 4,000 prisoners. Right, to ensure he had enough slave labour, he built a concentration camp nearby.
Well, that's just logistics.
As you do,
That's
logistics. 4,000 prisoners worked on the castle. A third of them died during the work.
Oh, fuck's sake.
It was known as the SS Vatican.
Mm.
He built a crypt where SS officers' bodies were burnt, dead SS officers.
And then did you
obviously.
see with the death rings?
Death
Death's
head
head
rings,
rings.
yeah.
Yes, death's head. They were the
They all the
top
officers
elite.
had a death's head ring, and
And
when
it
they
was-
died, it was sent back and put in
Yeah.
a chest.
He was so into the knights. It's all to do with this.
It had
it's
runes on it.
The SS
One of them was
rune,
swastika.
the SS rune, the Sig rune means
I found
victory.
that really interesting.
Yeah.
That even the SS that you think's just like a funky logo is an ancient rune. They were so in. So I wrote a bit about that language. Apparently, is believed to have come from Odin. Gave us the runic alphabet.
Banisher of ice giants,
Yeah.
my friends. More than Jesus has
I
done.
think they called the crypt Valhalla.
Yes, there you go.
And they use a lot of Nordic runes, didn't they?
Yeah, because they're believed to hold mystical power and of powerful magic and ritual. SS officers, there's photographs, did you see the photo? Of SS officers being taught the ruins like on a chalkboard.
No,
Like they had to
no.
know that language.
Wow,
Like,
so
not
they-
all of them, the ones at the
top,
yeah.
because of the 12 top generals had seats around this
12.
A round table.
the round table
Yeah.
with a black sort of swastika style sun on the floor and an eternal torch burning in the background, and you're like,
So much ritual.
you're a fucking chicken farmer, mate.
Yeah,
You're a
but
chicken farmer.
They're just
Where's this
nutty.
come from?
But the thing that
I thought I
got
had
me,
some grandiose fantasies, but fuck me.
Well,
he's a
Fascism is-
religious nutter. They're just
Fascism is the merge between state and church,
Yeah.
but it isn't church in their their instance. But yeah, between church and state. So that's what they, that is a typical fascist regime.
yeah. But that's what took me by surprise, though. Just the religious fanaticism of it all. Like I just thought it was political, I guess, I presume. But like, like, I mean, notes here I've got about him basically hijacking like pagan sun wish. In parades and stuff. I don't know why I wrote that, but I think I made that word up. They de-Christianized Christmas.
Makes sense, you
like
know.
made it a more pagan thing. But yeah, we're getting up. But basically that's what. So the SS, they're this elite military unit, right? Designed to fight to the death.
You want to be like Jedi.
Feared, yeah, but at the same time
Basically.
they're being taught all this mythical shit.
Yeah.
And then he
And
decided
they wanted
over
to
their
use the
wedding-
Force later on because they're going to get telekinetic powers. They're fucking Jedis.
What
He's
must
trying-
these guys have been thinking? So you're the best of the best,
George Lucas is a
physical,
Nazi, then.
Well, he was pre-racist in episode 1.
Well, think about it. You're physically elite. You're the best of the best. You're an hard man. You're a top bad boy soldier.
You've probably got a cool
and
scar.
Then you're like, I'm getting up to the very top of and you get there to the top training camp, and it's all fucking ancient mystical languages.
Yeah.
You know,
That
and, like,
reminds me of
blood oaths.
Scientology.
Ah,
That's the same sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the SS didn't have to pay for each, but yeah, I just found that, what must they have been thinking? They must have been so bought up in it all, like, well, these guys really believe it.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
SS
yeah,
weddings and births, like, they'd be, on the altar would be a picture of Hitler. Like, here's your Jesus,
Well, I mean, that wasn't for everyone. Oh,
It's like-
god damn.
Yeah, that's what happens when these mad ideologies become merged with state. Then they've got the power of the state behind them.
Nobody over the top telling you no. Like, he was just basically free like a mad scientist, wasn't he? To like,
Yeah, just
for a long time do what he wanted.
That castle, what was it called?
Dieselberg.
Dieselberg. He had technical drawings of that, and it was going to be built into the 60s. It was going to be a mega sort of like city. It
Wow.
was just going to be housed for the pure Aryans.
Well,
Besides
purest,
the SS.
and no doubt some Nordic Viking hero burial grounds to fuck him.
Yep.
Sex magic.
And him loved Operation Barbarossa.
Named after the King Barbarossa.
Ah, yeah,
What did they
because
do?
it was going to open up the lands for, basically it's going to be a feudal society where the SS officers would rule over the Aryan peasants.
Yeah.
And
You have
that would
Aryan
be-
peasants?
Yeah.
Well, they'd be the super god men, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
and then
you-
you'd have normal
No,
areas.
It'd be like the Slavs, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
What's
like-
left
it'd
of
be
them,
like
the
mixed
slave
blood.
labour.
Basically, the
Anyone that wasn't pure.
mixed blood would be the peasants, and then the pure would rule over them, and obviously eliminate everybody else that wasn't.
All this from a goddamn chicken farmer. You're like, what? So it's okay if you're at the top, but if you're at the bottom, you're working 12 hours a day to your death, basically. Here's some hot water with a tomato in it, that's your soup.
Yeah. Oh, and one thing I didn't like that I found out about him, I mean, in a horrible, cold way, it makes perfect logical sense, but it just made him even more unpleasant to me that before the gas chambers, he really wanted to see a mass shooting.
Oh, so you just
Yeah.
organised one.
He
just,
really,
yeah,
he
just-
went out to visit some outposts somewhere, and he was like, yeah, get some people together, shoot them. So they got some Jews to get in a ditch face down, and the guys opened up with their machine guns, and apparently the gore and the splatter was way too much for him, and he passed out, and
Oh, for fuck's sake.
his physician was called, and
Oh.
because of this, and he realised, like, if it took that toll on me seeing it that once, this is
What's it doing to the guys?
yeah,
doing it
yeah,
all
they're
the
not going to be
time?
able to maintain this at the level I need it maintaining at. How can we industrialise death?
And
basically, that's how we get to fucking gas chambers, and it's just his.
Sean Spice at the Holocaust Centre.
You know, just based on him being a fucking. The whole
I went
just
to I visited as a student years ago the Sachsenhausen Holocaust Centre. That's not being ironic. I'm not trying to make a joke out of that. I was just trying to be ironic. It, like I say, it was fucking eerie. But they showed us this one spot, and you see the industrial, the depersonality of it. You've got to make sure they don't know what they're doing, kind of thing, or in a way they don't see it. And even though they had the gas chambers there, they did 70,000 Russian prisoners, and they executed them. They took them into a medical room. They made them stand up against the wall. There was a hole in the back of the wall about the average Russian's height, so you see that you're 5'8", 5'9" sort of height. And there's a dude in the back with a rifle, and he puts it to the hole and he pulls the trigger.
It's all about justifying it, isn't it? They justified it. They said,
"No, they clean up, do the next guy."
It's just a job. I'm just doing it for my family. That's all.
Yeah.
And that was in the Nuremberg trials. That's not good enough defence.
No, I was following orders. Well, but at some point you've got to go. Fuck me, I've just shot like 300 people today. How do you depersonalise that?
And then they go back, but they think that it's just a normal job. They're just doing it. That they're providing for their family, so they're doing a good thing.
I also heard as well though, because you got to think this is quite a long period of time, like 10 years of Hitler.
1933 came to power, 1945 out. You're looking at 12 years of that.
And I heard this ex-Hitler Youth guy saying that he doesn't believe it now, but at the time he remembered genuinely believing what he'd been told, that I have German blood in my veins, I'm superior.
Yeah, but you ain't told as a kid. I mean,
exactly, indoctrination.
It's not like we said last time. I went to a CFE school. I had the Lord's Prayer drilled into me every day. Pisses me off. I still remember it.
Yeah.
But just imagine that, and that's like quiet religious school.
Yeah.
Imagine that being thrown at you every day for 10 hours a day, and you're in uniform. They loved uniforms. Everyone had to have a uniform. Even the German mothers had uniforms.
And let's
they had medals and spitting out kids. I mean, it was nuts.
And this is something I didn't know until now. Speaking of that, so you've been indoctrinated that as well.
Yeah, you got that much, and you're like,
and
holy
also,
shit.
Like they started euthanizing their own people before. Where is it? Basically disabled, alcoholic, even depression. Yeah, they started with those people, and I'm sure non-believers and people opposed to Hitler.
Anyone that was kind of spoke out, you'd have been.
That's easy. They just bribe a doctor. Some guy speaking up, bribe a doctor to say that he's got a genetic defect.
Or you got the camp, and then you can put a penal battalion, uses cannon fodder.
They sterilised
400,000 Germans. There we go. Sterilised, used under the Nazi doctrine to influence policy. Lethal injections to sick children, but they told their parents that they died from complications and things. Mentally, physically disabled people euthanized. In 1935, they passed the pure blood law. No pure blood German can marry or even have sex with a Jew. German Jews were stripped of their rights.
Yeah, but all the SS officers were banging Jewish women.
And this was all to purify the bloodline and be super.
Yes.
So
of course they did. They break their own rules.
Yeah, they were like, you had high rank, SS officer, you got your own room, and you'd be inviting a fucking French prostitute back, you invited a Polish prostitute back, a Russian prostitute. Doesn't matter. They don't.
You want.
They've probably seen it as doing them a favour, to be honest.
How many politicians do drugs? Yet they vote for drugs. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's all hypocrisy.
Of course they do.
They're in powerful positions. They can get away with it. It's of course. It's just the way it is.
I have something I found randomly in the net, and I can't quote. It's virility. It's not virility. That's wrong. Vril. It's life-giving elixir. I can't.
Bovril. So before you just start, Bovril. If I dip my dick in it, is that sex magic?
Yes,
I'll let you know next week. Sorry.
Don't put it in hot Bovril. You may want to steer clear of that.
That's not magic.
I wonder, do they still make Bovril?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
They've got to. There's still 50-year-olds, so there's got to be still Bovril.
Oh shit.
It'll be us.
I bet there's like a dynasty, and I might be getting married into a dynasty soon. My cousin is engaged to the third in line. Oh fuck, what is it now? It's not the Bovril. Shit.
to the head of the Nazi party.
The head of the Nazi
I
party.
just say for advertising purposes, there are other elixirs in life. Not just bottle.
Lucas Bottle. Oh shit, chocolate. Horlicks, the Horlicks family.
Holy shit!
You know they're Freemasons. You know they're fucking in the Illuminati. The Horlicks family. Third in line to the Horlicks fortune. I'm fucking in line for that now. I will be. Fantastic. Oh, I can finally buy my way into high society.
They never respect nobody, Ben.
Oh.
It's a dream you should let go of. You can buy your way into like criminal society, definitely.
Yeah,
Just buy your way into a big coke operation, you know what I mean?
You mean become Scarface?
Boats and hoes.
Boats and hoes.
You don't even need to just put it out there, outside the flat. You don't need a river. Just do a coke from your boat. Anyway, Brill.
No, it wasn't even Brill. I found this weird shit
Oh, sorry.
from some random website claiming that, I think I can kind of believe it, that the SS had a subdivision personally approved by Hitler. They were called the SS Hexen Sonderkommando, and they were tasked with creating the Hexen Karthanek, which is a witch index, and it could be used against papal objections to the Holocaust. And they had a 13,000 book Nazi library on witchcraft.
Well,
What the hell is that about? The website didn't even tell me what the hell they did, but I know that they've got a thing that's slagging off the Pope, so what the hell is that about?
that coincides.
Coincides.
I made that word. With I heard that the Nazis started, or Himmler, or one of them, probably Himmler. Basically, all other sort of secret societies, he like shut them down and took their libraries and any like old books, because apparently there was some books he got hold of that came from the Vatican with the secret library.
They've got some secret shit in there.
Yeah, so
I'd love. Give me half an hour in that library.
All these other societies, you know, that were popping up, he just went in, had the power and the muscle to be like, nope, I'll have all your books and all your books. This is before the internet, when books were fucking really, really important. You know, it might be some ancient handwritten shit that was only written down once, but he had it. So maybe all these thousands.
Yeah, you've only got stuff that's like copied at the Library of Alexandria, which was burned, and the largest loss of human knowledge ever.
I wonder where all that is now.
Well,
Don't forget the Nazis burned books themselves.
well, they did.
Public book burning.
And going on to stealing stuff, a tenuous link, the Spear of Destiny, or the Spear of Longinus. You don't know which one it's called, Longinus. Longinus was the guy that, it's quite sort of festive in a way, because it's Easter, and we're talking about kind of going back to the crucifixion.
Resurrection.
And the resurrection.
Yes.
But there, so Jesus is on the cross, you got this Roman centurion called Longinus, Long John, possibly, in Latin. And just to make sure, to finish Jesus off, he gives him the old stab into the ribs.
Yeah. Wasn't it
Blood-
to help him?
Yeah, it was to help him, like, to finish him off, yeah.
It was a
And,
mercy
A
stab.
mercy stab. It
Yeah.
was the finish him.
Finish him!
Yeah. That's it. And blood and water gushes out, and it goes all over Long John's face. And he couldn't see very well before, but now he can. He can see perfectly.
Was it
Cured
possible
him.
that Long John was wearing a pair of very dirty ancient glasses?
Who
And
could say?
Jesus' blood
Just washed
wiped
them off.
clean.
I don't know. But anyway, that spear ends up getting passed down. That spear gets embellished. It ends up in the hands of Charlemagne, who Himmler loved. The legend is, if you've got this thing, you can't lose.
Right.
Right? You can't. So
We couldn't have had it then.
well, 1938, Hitler annexes Austria. First thing he does, straight to the museum, gets the spear. Right? So he obviously had some faith in it. Then in 1945, when it was lost, the Americans took it, Patton took it. Hitler committed suicide several days later.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Of course. Right? So, where is it now? Who's got it? Apparently it's in Austria. It's back in the museum. The Americans allegedly gave it back.
Or was
If
it
you
a
got,
fake?
but
Yeah.
this is it. But there's several fakes,
Ah.
and they've analysed the one in Vienna, and it's meant to have a nail from the true cross in it. It's meant, and this expert looked at it and went, "That's not a Roman spear.
Oh.
Looks nothing like a Roman spear." When they X-rayed, because it's covered in gold, you know.
Yeah.
And so they X-rayed it down all the way down to the bear, and I went, "Well, that's not a Roman spear."
Oh.
It's like, oi.
So is
so
it
where
the
the-
Bible? Is it in the Bible, the spear of destiny?
It's in the Bible that he was stabbed with the spear, and then it's just kind of Christian mythology from there on. But they sent it back to Nuremberg. They're all going. Nuremberg gets taken. There you go. Patton gets it. America allegedly gives it back. Austria, they've had it for years. They've done nothing. What have they done? Where's the Austria? You know.
Oh, they produced Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, but they also produced Hitler.
Hey.
Easy come, easy go.
Come, sir. Yeah.
Although, to be fair, Arnold is a pretty good find.
He's a
I
pretty
prefer Arnold to
decent
Hitler.
dude, you know?
He's
I mean,
got anti-Trump as well. I like it. Did you see when they have that slagging match during The Apprentice?
He threatened
the
to bounce
Apprentice
Trump's
ratings.
head off the table or something, which was quite amusing. I mean, it's no help to all the dead people, but he's brought me a lot of joy, personally, Mr. Schwarzenegger.
Hitler?
No! Well, the last 25 minutes, Mecha Hitler's reanimated, decapitated head on a robot. It's
He
fun.
deserves a film of his own.
Yeah, it's fun.
Possibly versus a cyborg Gandhi.
Yeah, but it only costs 200 grand to make, so don't watch it. The first bit,
Oh,
it's all
man.
awful.
Does that mean if you were like the main actor, you probably got paid like 100 quid for your
Oh,
By the time you
it-
put in the shit special effects,
It's
that's
really
money.
bad.
Yeah.
And there's this horrific scene where like the half dead Nazis, like they need a pregnant lady's dead baby for the stem cells.
Nice.
And like they literally have like a tube, and it's like her ex who's been took over by the Nazis with the tube, like, and she's like, ah! And it's I fast forward, I was like, fuck,
Oi.
I don't need this. But anyway, that was a complete. Should I do a quick? Oh, hang on, before we go anywhere else, are you done with that?
Hang on a second. What have I got? I've got my that Brad Meltzer documentary I watched where it claims that the USA, one of the most powerful men. I mentioned it last week actually. Last time we recorded, I tracked that interview down. It was Brad Meltzer's Decoded
Right.
about the Spear of Destiny.
Okay.
And
Oh yeah, that's what we're on about.
Yeah, and he said, I worked for one of those. I was a bodyguard of one of the richest powerful men in America. I know for a fact he's got the spear. Right. So if the spear means you win all the time. And let's say that maybe Donald Trump is one of the most richest powerful men in America, and he had the spear. He could certainly afford to buy it on the black market, the real one.
He could hide it in his hair for
He
fuck's
could hide
sake.
it in his wig, his hair, his wig, allegedly.
That dead animal carcass.
Yeah, that.
It's actually a drone. And it can fire at any time.
But who knows? I mean, maybe he got it. He won the election against all the odds.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if we do have a nuclear war, we're gonna win!
Hey! Unless he fights us, we're not American.
Shit! But in that case, but we've got no oil, so it's okay.
I hate to say this, but
Scotland
a
has. Hey! Fuck you, Scotland!
thermonuclear war would wipe out all life on Earth.
Mm.
So.
No cockroaches. That was
They'll make 0-0 draw.
No,
From
because
this
he's on the
distance-
winning side. You'll be fine.
From this
we'll be fine.
distance-
We're on that side.
Yeah, but from this distance, would it be quick or would it be slow, like atmosphere? Would be
Now
slow?
we're getting the radiation.
No,
if they
it
dropped it
takes
on Birmingham,
Decades. It'll block like the sun for decades.
I mean, if they dropped a bomb on Birmingham, that glass is going
So everything.
behind you.
Well, no, I was
those
thinking
windows are going.
If he fires over in Syria, China,
Oh.
you know,
Oh, well,
it would take a long time for it to.
It
we'll
would,
just
yeah.
die
I'm on
slowly.
about like if everyone launches at each other.
Oh, yeah, we're fucked. Because someone told me
It's
the other
that
day,
scene from Terminator 2 where she's
Yeah,
clinging
it
to the
all just
fence and
goes.
your skin's getting blasted
Well,
off you. It's
where we are in the town of Telford, we're fucked apparently because RAF Cosford
Target.
is closed.
Yeah,
and
you
they're
say that,
gonna-
but jets can't really take off from Cosford. It's
They
not-
wouldn't hit every airbase, would they?
Donington's more of a big thing. It's a massive supply base.
Mm.
It's even closer.
It's even closer. Whether or not it'd be a primary target.
I have seen the movie Indiana Jones Part 4, and I believe
If you're going to say a hiding in a fridge,
a
it's
1950s
gonna-
fridge.
that was
capable of
that was
saving
the
me.
point when I lost interest in that film.
And it was right at the fucking start.
And
It was like, oh, what?
He's like, no, I'm sorry. Even if the fridge takes the radiation,
It's a lead-lined
he's
fridge.
breaking every bone in his body with that impact. He is a paraplegic for life. There's no way he's getting decontaminated. I fucking hated that film. It was shit.
CG monkeys.
Oh, it was awful. There was nothing good about it. It
Right.
was just terrible.
Well, speaking of Indiana Jones and Nazis,
Ooh.
because he's fought them a few
Yes.
times. So, Hess, Mr. Hess. I didn't write down his first. Oh, Rudolph on it. You fucking red
Think of the reindeer.
bastard. So,
Good old Rudy.
he was mental. And,
He was mental.
We haven't talked like.
It's nice to see those years of psychology
Yeah,
paid off.
yes, that is my professional diagnosis. A fucking
mental.
Fruit Loops.
Fucking mental.
He's a piece of fucking rocker. Well, we haven't mentioned yet that astrology was kind of a big thing to some of these guys, particularly Hess and Himmler. Like,
Yeah, they love that shit.
and based on that, so Hess, and he was the deputy Führer, which I imagine is a pretty big fucking deal.
Yeah, yeah.
Gets in a plane on his Todd.
Get to the chopper.
Get to the Luftwaffe.
Get to the Luftwaffe. Go.
Okay, so he flies
Go now.
on his own. He goes on his own to Scotland, based on.
I'm quite impressed he can fly a plane.
Right, well, yeah, it's impressive all the way to Scotland,
Yeah.
but it's based on an astrological forecast and a general friend of his, and this is proven
A general
in letters.
friend or a
no,
general-
a friend who was a general. And this is
I have a
proven,
general friend.
general friend who knows astrology. This is proven in letters that he wrote himself, Hess. So the general had a dream about seeing Hess in a castle in Scotland.
Yeah.
Based on astrology and a fucking dream, he gets in a plane, flies on his own, he's shot down in Scotland, right? He genuinely believes he doesn't have to go and see Churchill, because he believes British are we're a Nordic race, so he can turn us around. He's been forecast to him, we can join forces, make peace and go together. So he thinks he's just going to get taken straight to the fucking king, like, you know, he's just crash landed in a Scottish fucking...
Hello, I'm Rudolf Hess.
farm,
I'm
right?
the deputy Führer. Take me to your leader.
Yeah, and apparently...
Didn't crash on the Hartlepool.
No, they start kicking the shit out of him.
Fucking monkey, the monkey hangers of Hartlepool.
Apparently they told Churchill, and he was going to watch a Marx Brothers film that night, and,
Well,
he
that's
and he literally
seems
said like something like, well,
You
if
fucking
it's
joking.
him or not, I'm still going to watch the film. I went to watch the film. Apparently he was in jail a few days before anybody spoke to him or worked out who he really was. But just the insanity, but how much did they believe this astrology shit? Sometimes I read my stars in the paper and I'll be like, yeah, and like, you know, I'm just not like I literally go out and do it. I don't like
You don't live your life.
follow it by the
I mean,
fucking...
that's. I mean,
And I'm not in charge of an army.
changing your life, you know, changing your sort of day on a horoscope is like, or thinking that you're going to meet that tall, dark, handsome stranger. All right, that's
You don't follow
harmless.
your birth chart.
They were
No,
they were holding pendulums over maps and basing military fucking manoeuvres based on this ancient
Well, it's already pretty lost then, is it?
spinning shit, like it's insanity.
That's the best thing. It's already pretty lost. It took so long.
Oh, fuck me. It's
Think their lives that could have been saved. They're doing fucking tactics and pendulums.
Hitler banned all that shit towards the end.
Bringing shit in the back.
That's where it was. The monkey says Moscow. There you go.
No wonder Hitler went mental towards the end. He'd been listening to all these absolute fucking lunatics, and rather than letting it dawn on him that like reality was, oh my life, he just got really high on all the drugs he could, and they just kept.
And everyone keeps telling me, but you're the
You're
Yeah,
the
you're
Messiah.
God.
We believe you're the Messiah. I'm high as shit. Man, leave me out of this.
I'm fucking high.
He's having the worst drug nightmare of all time. It's like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas times
Really
fucking
was.
a million.
He was on a cocktail, and whenever he was come down, he started to realise, like, oh god, like he didn't have the confidence and the like absolute iron will when he wasn't.
The moustache
fucking-
couldn't carry him any longer. It was already looking ridiculous.
He was doped up to shit. But, oh, this might be fun. Would you like me to run down? This is according to a website called sabotagetimes.com.
Sounds reputable.
Yes. So apparently, according to them, these are the top 10 Nazi conspiracies.
Oh,
so should
go
we
on
do
then.
quick fire?
Yeah, so
sort of
fly
thing?
through these.
So number
I
one,
might have some. Does it go into UFOs at any point?
at some point,
Because every time I researched Nazi occult, I ended up with somehow a connection to aliens.
don't worry, at some point they're coming up.
Oh,
so number one,
fantastic.
Hitler died in Argentina.
Yeah, go for that.
I'm not so sure. I mean, it could be true. I did read an article today about an entire book somebody wrote.
Is it called Grey Wolf?
Well, there's a very grainy picture of a guy. They reckon he lived in Brazil. He had a black girlfriend as sort of cover.
Hey,
His name was
it was
Aldo.
branching out.
Adolf Lieber, and this guy is so convinced he wants this Lieber dude's body to be exhumed and DNA tests to be
Nah,
matched.
they'd
with-
have burned him,
but-
wouldn't they? There's no way that they just left any trace. You just burn the
Hitler
body, wouldn't you?
descendants went to America and they lived there, didn't they?
Mm.
Mm.
Changed the name.
Well, his half brother, who fought the Japanese in the US Navy.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did. Oh man, what's his name? Willie Hitler.
Willie Hitler?
Oh my life.
I'm sure, I've got to Google this now.
Willie Hitler or Willie won't?
I've got to Google it.
Well, I'm literally having a brain fart. What? Oh, Argentina. No, but I think.
I can't. I'm on airplane mode. God damn it.
But I think the book I read talking about the drugs in Nazi Germany, I now believe he was in really bad shape in the last few days in that bunker. So even if he didn't die right there and then in that bunker, I don't think he lasted
What did
very
he
long.
went chatting to Betty Ford? He got clean. He went to live in Argentina.
He went for clean and released a comeback album.
He got clean. Married Eva. They had 2 kids. I saw that documentary. They had 2 daughters.
He shot his kid in the face, didn't he? Oh no, or was it a capsule?
No, he didn't have any kids when he was married. It was just him and Eva. They got married.
Oh, that brings me to number 2 on the list.
Let's go through them in order.
Did he have kids or not? Because number 2 is Hitler only had 1 ball.
Oh, well.
Now apparently this is
according to the song you
absolutely
did.
unprovable, but like you say, Ben, I have concrete evidence as a school child in England
Yes.
that the song clearly states Hitler has only got 1 ball, and the other ball is indeed, in fact, located clearly, as the song states, in the Albert Hall.
Yeah.
His mother was a dirty bugger,
Yeah.
we all know,
Yeah.
and she cut it off when he was only 4.
Yeah, or small, whichever
Whichever
version
school you went to.
Yeah, whichever school you went to.
You know, but the facts are refutable.
Yeah, yeah. I've been to the Albert Hall and seen Hitler's
Yes,
statue.
I saw it. I did
we have to
believe-
go once a year. Every school
Yeah.
child has to go once a year.
Yes, I do believe I read on Guardian.com that there is absolutely no evidence, provable evidence from any sort of physicians, doctors that Hitler had any sort of abnormalities down there apart from tiny ineffectual penis.
Wait, what? So what the hell did we see when I was in school? Was my teacher just a Nazi?
Well, no, they were just.
I think you've been groomed.
By Hitler's ball.
Oh, God damn.
Touch the Hitler's bollock.
Don't touch Hitler's bollock. It will make you strong and racially pure. And that's why I'm the fine Aryan specimen I am today.
Touch the Aryan ball.
That's why I've got telekinesis.
Hold me to your forehead. It will open your third eye. Your third right eye.
Third right eye.
Oh shit. Oh, sorry.
Sounds like a path to the dark
Oh,
side.
God.
Oh man,
So-
it's a daily struggle. It's a daily struggle.
It's a daily struggle. So, on that note, back to the top 10 list of Nazi conspiracies. Number 3. Hitler was possessed by the devil.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, then I realised it was from a Christian website, so I dismissed it as bollocks. I watched that video and then I looked at the source and I was like, oh, that's from a Christian website.
That's professional research, man.
That's probably bollocks. I'm very pissed off the 7 minutes 34 seconds I spent watching it. But it does kind of tie into that quote I said earlier from the guy that Eckhart that he dedicated to Mein Kampf to. I've given them he will dance. And I've given them the means to communicate.
Communicate with them. Who? The devil, possibly.
I don't know. I think Satan's got more class.
Forces beyond.
Satan likes metal. He's not into the Nazis.
It looks pretty metal though. Fuck no! I've watched too many Nazi documentaries. I do not admire them. I'm sorry.
I can't get into
It's
the
just-
leather caps.
Yeah, the caps are a
Nazi
bit
or
much,
gay?
maybe.
Yeah, if you're. Between.
It's either a Hugo Boss trench coat or chaps.
I miss
isn't
my
it?
goth
Atlas.
days.
No, what am I trying to say? Atlas.
I don't know. Hitler probably did have assless chaps. I bet Goering
He had
did
the
definitely have
absolute
assless
chaps.
He was a cocaine fueled transvestite. He had assless chaps. I don't care.
He
Anyone
definitely
says.
did. Okay, so he might have been possessed by the devil. He was definitely not a very nice man.
Definitely.
So, in 4, Nazis had a moon base.
Ooh.
I like this one.
Because I actually got a book about like stuff
It must be true.
the Nazis had in the pipeline, and of course the oh man,
I've seen Iron Sky.
I've seen Iron Sky. I've seen the USB port that somehow launches a Nazi swastika spaceship into space. God, I don't know about that film, man. It's got its moments.
It's promising, then it goes, falls off a cliff.
I do enjoy the British little space fighter. It's called a Spitfire, and you're like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
There are some, man, it could have been good.
Although the American space fighter was called the George W. Bush.
Yeah.
He was like, oh man, yeah.
So okay.
But it was Werner von Braun. I mean, obviously he was head of NASA, wasn't he? I mean, he got man to the moon. He did get man to the moon. We were looking to space moon conspiracies at some point, but as far as I'm concerned, we were there. That episode only made me ripping on space conspiracies. Yes. I'll let you know in advance. Yeah, but it's like, so yeah, he had plans for a space station. They even worked out they had to rotate to provide semi-gravity. They worked out spacesuits.
So they were planning it.
And they were planning it.
In theory.
You know, they wanted it.
In
theory, but the rockets would have been, the V2 would have let, you know, it did. Did the V2 leave the atmosphere? I think it did very briefly.
I'm not sure.
It was an intercontinental ballistic missile. It was the first. So I mean, I think it did.
It was the first of its kind of missile technology.
He's getting stuff that high in the 40s, and then he, you know, and say they would have won the money and they'd have had, and it would have been prestige because they'd have probably entered into a cold space race with America. But America wouldn't have had the scientists, so they'd have lost, and Germany did have them all. And
so if they think about it, all those German scientists,
they would have had giant death rays and a base on the moon.
Yeah, if they'd have stayed where they were, if they won and those German scientists stayed where they were, they would be all that steampunk shit that we see in those movies. That you know, because number 4 and number 5 are quite connected. The Nazis had built a fully functional, working flying saucer UFO type weapons.
Powered by Vril.
And you know, that ties into it. It didn't mention it on the list, but did you hear about Black Sun and the secret weapon? It was like basically just hover technology, apparently.
Yeah, that's
using magnetism.
You're gonna give it a name like Black Sun.
I know.
I want some apocalypse sort of causing weapon.
It was nuclear powered apparently or something.
Was something about a bell.
Oh, the Nazi
bell.
That
is shaped like a bell. Like that's the other.
Yeah, that was the time travel device. Because if you're losing
the
war and you could possess a time travel device, you don't go back in time and tell your past selves not to invade Russia.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'd have done. If I was a Nazi with time travel, I'd have just gone back in time and said to Hitler, "Hey, I've come from the future. Don't invade Russia. Make sure you finish up Britain first."
Yeah. And
lay
off the drugs.
Futuristic weapons. Yeah. Come back. It's like the Yanks have got tanks. Well, we've got mega artillerated arachnids.
Hey, we can say
articulated
arachnids.
Yeah.
Say what we want.
We've got
articulated
giant
articulated any large arachnid type thing. So
yeah.
If it's made of metal, I'm not gonna like it.
It's going to be a giant Death Star.
It's going to fuck me over, isn't it? I'm going to die.
Oh really. God, it's too much like Wild Wild West from like giant arachnids. It's too much. That was a terrible film.
Fuck him. It could have been good. It had potential. I love steampunk, I love robots, I love westerns, I love sci-fi. I even like Will Smith.
I like Will Smith.
But the movie fucking sucked. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
It just sucked.
I also blame the guy who was Calvin Klein.
Yeah.
Calvin Klein.
Sounds fucking.
It was terrible either way.
Yeah.
Well, the dude in that was a German. The bad guy in that was a German, wasn't he? So they'd obviously maybe there's some truth to that. Maybe Wild Wild West was a warning.
So did they have this UFO technology? It would explain a lot of sightings, and because if we took that technology, or not us Americans, you know.
Yeah, we got some stuff too, but I don't think we got the UFO stuff.
Because to me, it's quite good. I don't know. Because I've seen conceptual drawings. I don't know whether
I've
these
seen
came
the drawings.
from, I don't know whether these are made by Nazis.
They all have fantastic SS logos on them.
And amazing cannons and rotary, and you're like, well, that would be an awesome weapon, just rotating 360, firing constantly. That was my gun noise. That would be pretty effective and awesome. But maybe again, these were just plans, things that got out. But you don't know what. I don't know if that drawing I saw was made at the time or since.
Probably not. No, probably not. Impression, yeah.
Because it's pretty. It just looked like a flying tank, basically, like quite cool.
They did have some really fucking cool shit in development, though. The Germans, I will give them that. I mean, like they had like some kind of 60-ton tank. No, it's more than that. It was called the Mouse as a laugh because it was like 100 tons, and it had like battleship guns on it and stuff. And yeah, it was absolutely nuts.
Okay.
I mean the jet fighters as well. I mean, it's the stuff they wanted to do was just insane.
So in 6, I don't know anything about this one, but apparently in the article I read where I got this from, it said that this is one of the more realistic and provable
Okay, that's a challenge set down.
Conspiracies, and I haven't read anything about it. Apparently, at some point, the Nazis tried to turn sand into gold.
I can probably believe that. I mean, for fuck's sake, look what we've discussed. What they believe in.
Yes.
Alchemy. I've turned this base metal into the finest green.
No, well, yeah. I mean, or maybe it was to make some kind of knockoff. You know.
Or is that like a thing for like, you know?
Didn't they have enough gold? They stole it off the Jews.
Oh yeah, they did have a lot of gold.
Teeth, everything. On that, I heard an interesting theory the other day. I don't know if this is provable or not. That apparently, because it took a lot of wealth to build all that shit.
Oh yeah.
Apparently they were counterfeiting, so good at counterfeiting money. They were like just doing a scam, counterfeit a shitload of British money, go to the bank in Switzerland, whatever, and like exchange it for gold before anybody even knows, and like just like constant supply. But,
it's true. The SS had a counterfeiting operation in the war, and they used to make perfect counterfeits of British pound notes, American dollars, everything. And the Nazis not only used it as currency because it was ultra realistic.
Yeah.
The plan was to sort of put it into the US and British economies to try and devalue the currency to fuck us that way. Fucking Germans.
Sneaky
Nazis. Sneaky efficient Germans thinking about the currency. This beast on the battlefield was thinking about devaluing our currency after. Sneaky bloody Germans. Great cars though. Great cars.
In 7, Nazis had a secret Antarctica base.
Hasn't that been proved to be true? Like, didn't they find something up there?
Did they?
I'm sure that it was like they had a base in Antarctica.
A Nazi Yeti.
Maybe. That snow
Nazi.
monster from Empire Strikes Back. One of them with a swastika on a band.
It would be cool. Well, not cool, but cool. Not cool, but cool again. I don't think Hitler's cool. He had like
polar
swastikas,
bears.
like red. He spray painted swastikas, the flag on the
He
side.
spray painted the polar bears red with the swastika flag on their side.
And helmets on. They'd look fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, and stormtrooper polar bears.
Not cool though. Not cool again.
No, but at least it would have kept the polar bear from endangerment.
Hey.
Because they'd have bred them more.
They'd
have made them. They'd have kept that environment.
There is a good side to every.
There is, because if a species has a purpose, you try and keep it going. I mean, if panda meat was the key to immortality, we'd figure out a way to breed pandas, wouldn't we?
Well, yeah.
It's only things being lazy.
I'm putting stocks in Bovril.
To be fair,
I'm only by the Illuminati soon.
And can a polar bear really tell the difference between a Jew and like a?
You can if you train them.
A Botswana. If you train them. Oh God. Okay.
You sit there and intensively teach them.
Number 8. Moving on. Number 8 is completely unprovable, and I don't know fuck all about it, but apparently it's the 8th most popular. Hitler was the avatar of the Hindu god Vishnu.
Oh man, the destroyer god.
Is that who he is? I should have looked up, shouldn't I?
Yeah, he's the Indian nuclear weapons deterrent is called Vishnu. It's the last resort plan is the Vishnu plan.
Right.
The god of destruction.
Maybe
like,
you just
enact
thought
Vishnu and you're like, well, that's kind of cool. At least you got a name.
I think there's a statue outside CERN.
It is quite cool.
Enact Vishnu. And you're like, yeah.
Accent number 2!
There's a statue outside
I was trying so hard not to be racist with the accent. I didn't go for a stereotype with it. But there is a statue outside CERN, which kind of, and also that probably ties into.
What does that have to do with science?
Well, let me tell you, because Oppenheimer, who set off the first nuclear weapon, said when it went off, "I am Vishnu, destroyer of worlds."
Yes, he did. He quoted the Bhagavad. It comes in that same book. Frickface was obsessed with him.
It's all combining. It's all coming together.
It's almost like a
Krishna.
conspiracy.
Huh?
Is it Krishna or Vishnu?
No, Krishna's quite up the opposite of Vishnu, Mike. He's quite peaceful.
Is that the one?
Yeah. Old Harry.
Well, 9 and 10, disappointingly, are basically the same thing, but Nazi gold buried in Lake Toplitz is number 9, and number 10 is Nazi gold buried on Auckland Island.
Auckland Island? Where?
Oh,
the Auckland.
Sounds Australian to me. But I don't know.
Spelled?
Auckland. If I manage to copy it down correctly, of course.
I'm pretty sure that's not near New Zealand.
But anyway, Nazi gold, did they bury it? Probably.
Yeah.
But wouldn't some fucker
No, they buried it and they took it with them. The more, you know what? the more I looked into this, right, this
Right.
whole Nazis, and then I got into Nazis escaping, and I realised that there was a lot of gold, and they'd had a lot of it in Switzerland,
Yeah.
right? And I thought to myself, they all went off to different. They all not maybe someone, you know, maybe Hitler, but I think the party bigwigs got off and got to other places. Egypt was Argentina. And they bankrolled companies in Germany, and the Germans had this massive economic revival after the war, which shouldn't have really happened. And the reason was a lot of money there to build it. And you put your former SS officers in charge of factories and companies, and that means they have influence in the parliament because, of course, companies influence parliament. And then you go to, well, none of the, if you think about it, you look, who's got to be the mayor after the war of a town, right? So you go, well, we could give it to this other guy who knows nothing about running an efficient government, but we could give it to the ex-Nazi mayor who's now said he's not a Nazi, but at least he's not going to fuck things up.
Yeah.
You know, you keep the right people in the right jobs, don't you?
Just keep it hush and.
Yeah, and you just like,
don't
because obviously after the war no one was a Nazi.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't know that was going on. That
Yeah.
is a standard excuse. A band of brothers. There's a concentration camp outside of town. Oh, I didn't know what was going on. I'm not a Nazi. Well, no, you did, mate. You know, as the officer says, tell me you couldn't smell the bodies, and you tell me, and you're like, oh, fuck's sake, yeah, you knew what was going on, but because none of them did. So I get this feeling that they never really went away. I think more than ever that they're back, and they've got into positions to influence the people in charge of us.
Because wasn't it like Greece or somebody who, when they went like economic crash recently, they were like, I'm sure they said something about Germany.
Sue them, yeah.
Yeah, Germany owes us a fuckload of gold
Yeah.
that was never returned after all this shit was over, and we've never recovered really, you know. And you're over there telling us what
Pay
to
up your
do.
money.
That's the
Yeah.
hypocrisy of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I just think and I'm saying they're in Germany. I think they're in America. I think they went to America. I think they went to say even over here. And our aristocracy were really pally with the Nazis. They thought they were good guys because they wanted to keep the rich in power, the pure as it is. And the rest of us plebs would have just
The
been.
royal families of Europe all.
They're all interbred. I mean, Victoria had like 20 odd kids. They're all in over Europe.
You could argue the First War was a dispute between
Families,
brothers and cousins.
Yeah. It's nuts.
They just started, if you know, they just hadn't started fucking murdering millions of fucking people in horrific chambers of death and fucking horror beyond
but
human
when you-
imagination. And you know, great guys, they could have stuck around, but that's probably the real conspiracy, isn't it? That they, you know,
I genuinely
not
think they're still.
Satan.
I think that their descendants are pulling the strings around the seams. I really do. I don't think they ever went away.
probably.
Maybe not.
Do we
Oh, look at
know?
Operation Paperclip. They all went over, didn't they?
Yeah.
And
And
they
Captain
did.
America too.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Bang
Hydra
on.
infiltrated everything.
It's all
Even
based.
Shield.
Oh man.
Right?
Don't say that. Maybe
And-
Trump secretly, when he shakes hands and leans in like that.
Yeah, Hail Hydra.
Yeah.
Because that guy that looks like Trump, doesn't he? The director
Mm.
leans in. Hail Hydra.
It's all just.
We need Captain America more than ever.
Oh, we need like.
And Falcon,
No.
whatever his name is. Is it Falcon?
Yeah.
The dude, yeah.
We don't need Captain America, the real one, because the real, in real life Captain America would probably be fucking insufferable, wouldn't he? We don't really want him.
He'd be so goody. But
We
but
want
he
some-
can. He does budge Thor's hammer.
We
so
want like
give him a
Captain
chance.
Western. You know what I mean?
Captain
Just
Western. Clint Eastwood's drawn.
Captain
John
Westernised.
Wayne.
No, just generally Westernised. You know what I mean? That sounds racist, but
So can we sum it up?
sum it up in.
Well,
we didn't really get to.
They
like,
believe some weird shit, the
Yeah,
Nazis.
basically.
And that was, I mean, how much of it is
It
just
was a
mythologized
cult.
now? It was a cult.
massive
Yeah,
fucking cult.
It was a cult, and the idea was to be like North Korea now, where you've got children who've been in that regime for 40, 50 years, and they grow into adults, and they fervently believe it, and they do anything. I mean, if you pointed...
utter
If
devotion.
you said to the Germans after 50 years they were being invaded by the Russians, if you gave them sticks and said go and fight them, they'd go and do it, and that's the level of commitment they would have wanted in the end, doesn't it? It's that utter devotion to something bigger than yourself, but at the same time you're just getting exploited.
Yeah. But
And,
it's to
and they
believe
dress
and
that up in
belong.
all this nationalism, and it's exactly what's
It's extreme,
When you look at it,
insane nationalism.
yeah, I mean, it is
Influenced by
daft. It's
fucking mythology.
influenced by a fucking chicken
Yeah,
farmer
whether-
and a failed art
yeah,
student.
Insanity.
This is the,
And a guy with one ball.
and a guy, well, he's a failed art student. You know, you've got a failed art student,
Yeah.
a fucking chicken farmer,
Transvestite.
a cocaine
Fucking
addicted
fat
transvestite, who, although to
yeah.
be fair, he was a World War One ace.
Nothing wrong with cocoa
Flew with von Richthofen,
Or
to be
fat
fair.
guys.
But at the same time, at that point, I'm pretty much off his tits 24/7.
They
The only
all
one,
were.
the only two intelligent ones, and a lot of them were Goebbels and Speer. And you know who's, Nazis have an influence in Arabic countries because of the anti-Semitism. Guess who's got the contract to build Dubai's World Cup stadiums? Albert Speer's son's architecture company. There you go.
Motherfucker.
There you go.
Still in
Boom!
the world
Mic drop.
today.
And
Mic drop.
and
There you go.
Spear is related to the spear of no. I'm pushing.
Yeah.
Sorry. Well, I think that's a good place.
Yeah.
Fucking basically Nazis horrible.
Drop some
filthy,
truth. Drop me some
crazy.
truth.
Truth bombing here.
Truth like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
So,
Smell that?
so don't be a Nazi, but
No, I just smart.
don't be a Nazi, but do practice sex magic if you can.
Yeah.
No evil chaos magic.
No.
Look where that gets you.
Yeah.
Millions dead.
Don't go rotating.
Millions.
Don't go rotating those swastikas.
Don't go breaking my heart.
Unless you're a gay or Nazi, no to the caps.
Yeah. Let us differentiate. The little guard.
Oh.
One of you just choose a side.
If you're a gay Nazi, you may wear both.
Wow, there's
Just don't kill anyone.
There's a contradiction in terms. Wow. Do you reckon there's homosexual right wingers?
Of course they all are. That's why they're so pissed off.
Yeah, but not
Well,
really
if they can't-
proper right
They can't
wingers.
come out.
What
Oh,
about
yeah.
the Milos Yiannopoulos?
Well, I'm gonna go have to have a pee. Not because you're talking about gays. This isn't me coming out of the closet. Goodbye.
Yep, farewell everybody.
Yeah, okay, there you go, that's the end of that. Until next time.
Until next time.